Hey everyone, I hope you're having a great day today. I'm here with your real estate market update. It's a little bit different today, focusing on what happened in the first quarter. We'll look at things nationally and then drilling down into what's going on in the Triangle's active adult communities in the real estate market. We're going to focus on one specific area. But if you're thinking about buying or selling in a 55 plus community, you really want to know what's going on in the real estate market. You want to know what happened in the first quarter, and a lot of things have happened. We've gone into the second quarter, we're in our spring market, but there's a lot of things going on in the world and economically that are affecting buyers and sellers that are in the market today. So you have, a war going on, stock price volatility, your stock market has some volatility. Interest rates have ticked back up. They're now closer to the mid sixes. So I think when I looked at Mortgage Daily News, they were between 6.4 and 6.5. So interest rates are up a little bit. Gas prices are up. There's a lot of negative news, and a lot of people are saying, you know what, I'm just going to take a step back and hold off and see what happens over the next few months. So we could see a potentially softer spring market than we have in past years. So a high level update, what's going on nationally, starting with the big picture. The National Association of Realtors says that hey, we're seeing a more balanced, more buyer-friendly market today than we have in years past. And, speaking of the National Association of Realtors, when they came out with their projections at the start of the year, they said, hey, we are projecting that real estate sales are going to go up 14% in 2026. Very aggressive. And a lot of experts were projecting an increase, but National Association of Realtors was way out there. And now they're revising that projection because what's going on in the market with the war, gas prices, inflation, mortgage rates have ticked back up, so on and so forth. So now they're revising their forecast down. So it'll be interesting to see what they come up with. But they're saying, inventory is improving, buyers have more choices, but affordability is still a challenge because interest rates have ticked up. RedfinRealtor.com, they're seeing the same trend. So overall, we're not in that hot frenzy type of market. Buyers have more choices. They have more time. They're taking their time. They're looking at all the different options out there. But we're not in a downturn. So we're in that balanced market. And then I think, what we're seeing here locally is very comparable. And so I'm going to share my screen and we'll get into what's going on in the 55 plus communities. And today, for the purposes of this video, I'm just going to focus on the Brier Creek area because there's a lot of 55 plus communities in this area. And there's a good mix. There's 3 resale communities. There's 3 new construction communities. And a good amount of houses here. So this gives us a good representation as to what's going on in the current market today in 55 plus. Now, if you live in another community or you want information for one of the other 55 plus communities out there, I'm happy to share that information with you or provide that information as well. If you're looking at like the southern part of the Triangle and you're looking at the Del Webbs down in Fuquay and the one in Clayton, they may have a little bit of a different picture going on. But for the purpose of this, we'll focus on the Brier Creek area, these 5 communities, resale and new construction. And we're going to focus on single family homes. A couple of these communities have townhouses as well. But the bulk of the communities are single family homes. And so that's really where the bulk of the sales are. So that's where we're going to focus our efforts. The Brier Creek area, if you don't know about the Triangle, and the Brier Creek area is a great area, very popular. It's convenient to downtown Durham, convenient to downtown Raleigh. You have convenient access to major roads, shopping, restaurants. Everything you need on a daily basis is really right in this area. So it's a very desirable area. You're also only about 25 minutes over to Chapel Hill, depending on traffic. So there's a lot in this area that you have a lot in this area available to you if you live in this area. So it's a very popular area in the Triangle. And I find a lot of people really gravitate towards this area as opposed to some of the other parts of the Triangle, because a lot of people still want to be plugged into, that city lifestyle. So, from here, you have easy access to downtown Durham. You want to go see a show at DPAC, things like that. You want to go into downtown Raleigh, go to the Martin Marietta Center, see the symphony. You have convenient access into both these locations from this particular area. If you want more information about the Triangle and how it's laid out and where all our 55 plus communities are located, I have a ton of videos about that. But you can see, as I zoom out here, we have a lot of 55 plus communities and age targeted communities. I do include the age targeted communities, but all the pink houses are 55 plus communities, and there's more coming. So there's a lot available here in the Triangle. So if you want to live in the more rural area, there's stuff available for you. If you want to be more plugged into the city life, there's definitely options available for you. So if you're interested in learning more, don't hesitate to reach out or check out my YouTube channel, Welcome to Raleigh, where I have a lot of videos about, orienting people to the area as far as what's available near our communities and things like that. So shifting over to the MLS, we're going to start with and I'm going to look at the new construction and resale separately because I think that's important to show some different trends. So when we look at this is a CMA summary report. This is going to show active, sold, and pending homes, and it's showing communities, all the resale communities. So Creekside, Bethpage, Carolina Arbors, Fendel Farms. When we look at what's on the market, there's only 18 homes available for sale. Now, if you add up all the homes in these three communities, there's a lot of homes. Creekside has 660 homes. Carolina Arbors has about 1,300. Fendel Farms has 500. You look at those across those three communities, that's a lot of homes. There's only 18 listings on the market. The average, you can see the square footage here. The average square footage of the home that's listed is around 2,000 square feet. These listings have been on the market for 44 days, so a little bit higher than what we've seen in the past. On average, for the past several months, past year, average days on market about a month. So a little bit higher than what we've seen, and the average list price $557,000. We'll go to pending sales. So these are your more recent sales. So these give a good indication of what's gone on in the market just recently. There's 17 that have recently gone under contract in the three communities. The average square footage comparable to what's on the market, 29 days on the market. So homes that have sold more recently sold faster than what's available on the market today, and for a comparable price. What's available today, the average list price is $557,000. These homes that are under contract, the average list price was $560,000. And then when we look at what has sold and closed, 12 homes have sold and closed. And again, this is just first quarter data, so January 1st to January 31st. Homes a little bit larger, so 2,200 square feet, also averaged about a month on the market. Higher closed sales price, higher list price, $648,000, and closed sales price, $637,000. And this is important to note, and this is a good indication, there's a couple of important things to note here. So one, the closed sales sold for less than their list price. So sellers came off their list price about 2%. Two, when you look at recently closed sales, they sold in a month, and you look at what's under contract sold in a month, and then you look at what's what's available for sale, and those have been on the market for 44 days. That's where your shift is. So it slowed down a little bit. And I saw this in my own business. January, February, very busy. And then as we got into March, it started out busy. And then a lot of stuff started happening in the economy and things like that. And everything started to kind of slow down. So that's where you can see that shift happening with the resale communities. Now, looking at the 55 plus new construction that's in the areas, Ovation, it's Sweet Brier, and Falls Village. They have a lot more available. So right now, 30 homes available for sale. And this probably isn't everything because they don't list everything available for sale in the MLS. So there's more homes available for sale. There's also lots. So you could go in and say, I want to buy lot 12 and this is what they're building on it. You could pick all your stuff. So there's more available in the new construction community. So, you have resale homes available for sale, homes in new construction communities that are listed. So there's more options, and there's more options that aren't even listed in the MLS. So on average, of all the homes that are listed in the new construction community, comparable square footage, right around 2,000 square feet. So similar to what we saw with the resale homes, average list price $542,000. So less than the resale communities that were at $557,000. So you can potentially get a better deal in the new construction communities than you can in resale communities. So that's where, if you're a seller in the market and you're within close proximity to new construction, you really have to be smart about your pricing strategy, because if someone for less money can buy a brand new house and they're getting most of everything on their list, well, what are you going to do? If you were a buyer, you're looking at a house that's 5 or 10 years old and you're going to pay more for it. So that's something to take into consideration if you're a seller in the market today. So this is everything that's on the market. Let's look at what's under contract. And again, this is not everything that's under contract in these communities, but right now 15 are shown to be under contract. Comparable square footage, around 2,000 square feet on average. Average list price around $521,000. So compared to, better deal than the resale homes that are under contract in the resale communities. And finally, when we look at what has sold and closed on average, so you have 14 on average, those homes were a little bit bigger, and their average list price $579,000, sold and closed price $578,000. So $578,000. So you can see they're coming off their list price a little bit. So while sellers in resale communities are coming off their list price a little bit more, you can see new construction is also coming down a little bit. They're also offering incentives. So they're offering $10,000 credit if you, or a dollar amount credit if you use their preferred lender. They're getting more aggressive on their pricing, as you can see right here. And they have things to offer that the average person, the average seller doesn't have to offer. The average seller doesn't have a preferred lender that can offer $10,000 at close. So, but there are some different programs. If you do work with an agent like me, I have a preferred lender. They have some special programs available that can help you compete with new construction. And I'm happy to talk about that. If anybody is interested in learning more, don't hesitate to reach out. But definitely some things to think about. If you're a buyer in the market today, it is slower, it is softer. There are more options available for you. You can take your time. It's not like it was in 2021 and early 2022, where it's like you had to make a decision in 30 seconds. Okay. So it's very different. Homes are taking longer to sell. I just see on my own listings, you don't get as many showings. So there's more options available. Buyers are shopping, they're taking their time. So if you are a buyer and there's all these options, homes are sitting on the market, you have more negotiating power. So if you can swing it at the higher rates, or, you're ready to buy, this is a great time to buy. This is a great, the time to buy is when everyone else is panicking. And a lot of people are panicking right now. If you're thinking about selling and you're, obviously not new construction, you're resale, you have to be really strategic. You have to be realistic about what's going on in the marketplace. If you really, truly want to sell and you want to move and you need to move on, you have to be realistic with what's going on in the marketplace. There's more options today. You're going to compete with new construction. New construction sometimes is a better deal. So you really have to be smart and strategic as to how you position yourself in the market. Because one of the things to think about, and one of the things that I always tell people, when I'm selling a home in a resale community versus new construction, I'm looking at the amenities. Are the amenities done? So if you're, if I'm selling in a community where there's the amenities are all done, that could be a potential benefit to somebody. So a lot of people don't want to wait for the amenities to be built. Now, in both Ovation and Falls Village, amenities are under construction and will be completed soon. But, a lot of people don't want to wait for that. They want to plug it right into a social network. So that's something that I always talk about with both buyers and sellers that I'm working with. It is important to take a look at that as well. So hopefully that information is helpful for you. Just a high level overview on national and what's going on in the area of the Triangle where we have a lot of 55 plus communities. Again, if you want information that's more specific to a certain community, I'm happy to share that. If you are looking for a 55 plus community and you're not sure where you want to go or what you want to do or where you want to be, don't hesitate to reach out. I always help people narrow down their search and can help them ultimately find a home. If you are thinking about selling in a 55 plus community, I do specialize in 55 plus communities and can help you as well. If you want more information like this, check out my YouTube channel, Welcome to Raleigh. There's community tours, city tours, more information on the real estate market, listings, things like that. And I hope you have a great day. I look forward to talking to you again soon.